Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Carl Lightning and today I'm just going to talk about the last couple of years, and I wanted to make this video because there's a lot of people asking why I kind of stopped, why content creation for me didn't go where I wanted it to publicly. So I just sort of wanted to tell you the last couple of years because I know some of you are interested. And if this is your first video, this will be quite an interesting one just to get to know where this channel started and where it's gone to, because I think it's a wild ride, and I think that's what you'll find by doing content creation. It's not as straightforward as some channels, and it can get complicated. Lucky for me, my life just went kind of like that through content creation, ups and downs, but that's kind of what's exciting. And I'm using this microphone today, which is really bizarre because it's an interview mic, but I've always wanted to do this. I've made lots of friends in the content creation sphere, if we're going to call it that, and they all use this microphone to interview people and talk into it, and it's just a little bit of jealousy. So here I am today, ticking off something off my bucket list, I guess you could call it. So yeah, I just want to make this video, and of course, if this is the first one, welcome to the channel. My name's Carl Lightning, and I would tell you what I do normally, but again, we're trying to progress this into more of a where's the channel going, so I will talk about that when I get to the years. But this channel, of course, started in 2018, kind of like 2017. The massive update of Snapchat, where they changed social and media, like separated it, caused a massive uproar. It was my first video that I did. I didn't mean to plan it like that, and it just kicked off from there. We made this video, and obviously because it was like quite a controversial update, it kind of just made the views shoot up, and I came on the scene quite quickly. I actually feel like I took over from, and obviously I'm not claiming this, but there was a channel called Break the Internet, and at the time that he stopped making videos about Snapchat and social media was sort of the time that I sort of came in. He was a channel I watched and sort of inspired me to make content, so I'm not like jumping on him. I'm actually saying thank you, because actually it gave me a place in the content. It gave me a place on YouTube, which is really weird. So from 2018 to 2019 were my 2 solid years. We made back-to-back weekly content. We were like joining all the online events. We were trying to get involved as much as we could, and this is before Snapchat was fully online with its events. Obviously the Partnership Summit, the Easter egg hunt, all the cool stuff that sort of happened in those years. Obviously YouTube boxing was a thing. I did not partake, but it did inspire me to do a charity boxing fight myself. So 2019 was just an insane year for me, and YouTube was just going on the up. I met so many content creators at Insomnia. I went with content creators to Insomnia, which is not sort of my area, but it was a video game conference for gamers to go to, but there's obviously a lot of content creators in the gaming world, so it was one of those things that was like, yeah, this is cool. I met, some big YouTubers there. I didn't collaborate with them, but it was nice to just talk about, how content is. So that is like the first 2 years, and obviously that is the bread and butter of like how my career started on YouTube, and I absolutely love it, would not change a moment. But then of course 2020 hit. This is just a painful year to talk about, I believe. 2020, we all know what happened. I'm going to use it. I try and not use the word COVID in my videos because I just think it's such a sour word. But obviously COVID-19 hit, and how it affected my channel was more the fact that like I feel like Snapchat had to get their act together in terms of like working from home. I've got no evidence to say this, but the updates just were minimal. There was like slow stuff, and I don't know whether it's because they were turning more into that Partnership Summit vibe, but like instead of them randomly just shadow dropping a feature it was kind of like every 3 weeks, and I would just make a video and then I would fill content between those weeks. 2020 was just bland, and I think it was also the same time that Spotlight came out, and obviously that's just very similar to TikTok and Instagram Reels, where it's nothing fresh. It's just that sort of format that video content creator platforms have gone to sort of include vertical film and short form. And don't get me wrong, Spotlight's amazing and it's changed a lot of people's lives, and again, I've met amazing people through Spotlight. I don't personally make short form content. I try, but it's not sort of my place to be, really. It's long form for me, I'm afraid. So where I kind of went in 2020 with my Snapchat career, I guess, was I started getting invested in the lenses. I was already sort of dabbling in 2019, but I became friends with Phil Walton, the one and only potato guy, the one who made the potato. He became sort of my mentor unofficially. There's no like official mentor, but Phil was my guy. He literally mentored me all the way through, helped helped me with loads of lenses, got on board, and I kept working towards becoming a lens creator, which we know as an OLC, which has now been renamed, but like that was like the gold star, and I was working towards it. I was making some fantastic lenses and collaborating with all the lens community. And honestly, if you go back to any of the videos where I talk about the lens community, I'm not wrong. It's a really nice place to be. There are so many nice creators in there, and it was just like a cool thing to do. And then, of course, I finally got accepted into the Lens program, and that's sort of like, whoa, that's amazing. Honestly, to be part of that and see where lenses are going, or filters, you might know them as, that was just pretty cool. So I got verified on Snapchat, which was kind of the best thing, because it was like highlighting that I've done something really well, but also that opens the fact that you literally get DMs off everybody asking, how'd you do it? Can you contact this? Can you do that? And it's just like, honestly, just work on the grind and get noticed yourself. Like, you don't need a little star. And look how social media's gone now. You can literally pay $7.94 or something like that to be verified on their platforms. So I'm kind of glad. Paid sponsorship and paid subscriptions are just annoying, but like I'm kind of glad it's gone that way, because like it has taken the heat off. So, but yeah, 2020 was kind of like a quiet year for YouTube. I still made the videos, but it was like pulling at straws with content, and I was at this point trying to see whether I could branch out. So 2021 was an interesting year because it was sort of us coming back to normal. However, Snapchat was getting more technical to an entry level. So like if you wanted to get involved in the lenses, if you wanted to get involved in what Snapchat were doing, you kind of had to have a coding background, or just basically no JavaScript and code, because machine learning and augmented reality were kind of the big things Snapchat were moving towards. And do not get me wrong, it was the right direction for them. But for me as a content creator, it was very difficult to feel like I could bring the content that people actually wanted. So like from a YouTube point of view, this is where I started to notice the channel slowing down. But now from the public perspective, yeah, it looks like my channel's dying, I'm losing interest. I actually turned my whole like hobby, which is this, into a career. I now work full time as a content creator somewhere else, as before I worked in technology, where I was just good at computers and whatnot. So like to actually be able to turn this into a career was insane. Honestly, I'm still there now. I still love it. It's brill. There's always a daily challenge, and I've learned so much. And it just shows that you don't really need qualifications to do content if you're talented enough. And that's what I just fully respect. Honestly, the fact that I can do this for a living now is just like amazing. So 2021 was a slow year, but like it was that one where I started to learn what I wanted to do, and I started making more content for the channel. But then, of course, one year ends and the next one starts. So this one is where you start to notice life doesn't always go as planned. Honestly, it's one of these little roller coasters that you sort of have to ride without choice. And in 2022, I started pretty well. I started making content. I was enjoying what I was doing. I was in the older studio back then, or the office as it was called. And basically what happened is in July, we rented the property, and they basically just wanted us out to sell the property to go somewhere else. I think after COVID in the UK, the house market shot right up, like literally the price of everything shot right up. So I think they knew at this point that they have to sell. I've got no proof of that. That's just kind of what I pieced together from what happened. But you have to adapt to the times. But at that point, I lost like the studio, the place I made the videos, and it was kind of that impossible, like, well, I can't just sit anywhere and make them. It's kind of like a whole 3-hour gig thing where you need powered lights like what we've got here. So it was one of those where I had to adapt. So after June and July, I just had no chance of making any sit-down videos. I think I started to try and do like tutorials, but again, it was really difficult where we'd moved to do that, and it was, how it goes. I did start another YouTube channel at that point. I was very interested in Apple Arcade. Obviously, I'm a big Apple fan, so I really wanted to support that. Again, saw a little niche to do it. And then stopped that because the branding was brilliant. Honestly, I absolutely love doing that channel, but I am not a video game journalist, and it is very difficult to just jump straight into something technical at the quality I wanted to do. So I decided to just cut ties with that. But that's where I learned to do podcasting, and that will come back in 2023, as you will see, or 2024, this year, of course. So at this point, I'd done YouTube, I think, 7 years, and I wanted to inspire more people to do it. And that's what I'm trying to do with this channel now, is trying to create more content that inspires you to either go down short form, long form, Snapchat, lenses, whatever. Because I feel like if you feel like you're a creative. You just need to show yourself that you are. So I started going down this little journey of trying to inspire others. So when I'd sort of lost the house, we sort of like then created, I sort of created a little consultation business that sort of helped other YouTubers and content creators like flesh out their stuff and understand it from what I'd learned over the last, I want to say 10 years, but I've only been doing YouTube like 7, but I'd obviously done videos before that. So I was like, oh, I'll just write a book. And I've always wanted to write a book. I kind of wanted to do like a YouTube autobiography, like how I got into it. But then I actually fell into writing something that I was interested in, which was like British culture, and I actually created that book. That's this one here, the form book, and yeah, it was a great piece of work. It was a long piece of work though, and I've learned so much how to write books. And honestly, if you're a graphic designer or someone who puts books together, honestly, it's a task, and I understand that. So I have started to make YouTube video series to help others who want to do that as well, because creatives aren't just limited to cameras. They can be limited to words as well, or not limited, but can be chosen to do, content via words. So like writing, and like to release a book, it could cost you like less than 50 quid or $40, whatever it is, if you do it like cost effectively. Like even the artwork doesn't cost a lot if you know how to do it. And that's why I'm going into sort of making that content for people, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that would. So now we move into the first year, I believe, was like full COVID free, like that stint had ended. 2023 was a rebuild year for everybody, but especially me, because I bought this property I'm sitting in now, and when we brought it, it was like a 1950s museum. Literally, it was still standard, I would say, to when it was built in the 50s. Which is crazy, because like honestly you can really learn how like technology moves. I mean, it was lucky it had central heating. This is the room here, like this video is like the room it was when we got the keys, and now look at it. It's this really vibey creative space that we've had to work really hard to build, and I couldn't ask for anything better. It's a good size room. It's actually, I'd say, twice as small as the last studio, but 10 times better. No wooden floors, curtains that actually dampen sound, kinda. I'm gonna give them that anyway. So yeah, like we had to rebuild, and it took about August before it was actually like fully ready to actually move into and make these videos. Hence why like last year I started to pick it back up again, because again I was still creating content from the other house. While this house was being renovated to be able to create content again, I was still doing my consultation of creating content and helping content creators grow. There's a couple of them out there now that are doing really well. I don't take credit for it, but if you listen to Jacob here, collaboration helps
I mean,
everybody grow.
I'd probably say you're the main reason why I'm in the position I am.
And it's such a cool thing to hear. That wasn't scripted or prompted, and that was on the podcast I'm currently doing. We're 3 episodes in. Again, it ties into the book I wrote, but also I have a friend who wants to create content as well, and she's a fab co-host. So we decided to create that podcast to sort of like just talk about things. People like to listen to stories, and it's a platform to tell it. Again, which goes into that other side of I'm helping people to make podcasts as well, because I enjoy it and I know people like to tell their stories, and it is an alternative to video. So we've done writing and we've done podcasts, which are, still telling stories just from a different perspective, because some people don't have the confidence to sit in front of a camera. So, but it's been great to work with Jacob and see him thrive. If you want to listen to how well he's done, if you listen to Going Out for a Few, it does have explicit language in. You have now been warned. And thanks, Jacob, because now I was putting them on this channel, but I just feel like I'm going to have to edit that down for it to be safe. Just because it's not the vibe of the channel, but I wanted to share my work and what we've worked towards over the last couple of years. So 2023, yeah, exciting year. I did kind of a lot of content, and I've learned so much about how to do supporting content like writing, and how to do like the podcast as well really well, and that's sort of where my channel's going. So we're sort of talking, we'll stick with social media. Absolutely do love social media. I think it's got a bit darker over the years and it needs to be a bit more contained, but we all know that. But to be able to support people on how to make content on other platforms as well, we've also got the fact that I will be doing Snapchat content still. I just think that I still love that application to the day I picked it up in 2012 or 2013, whenever it was. So like for me, like I'm still going to always talk about that. And I know you want to do it because a lot of you are subscribed just to see that Snapchat content. So that leads me into 2024, which I feel like is turning a new leaf and starting like kind of afresh. Obviously, we've got the new name, which is Car Lightning Snapthis. We're going to keep the Snapthis there until I feel like we no longer associate with Snapchat in terms of the content, which I feel like it's going to be here for a while. Obviously, I've got my podcasts and I use my name to sort of brand that. So like for me, that's where we're going. We're going to keep making content. We're going to try and make it more entertaining because obviously I know that I do a lot of how-tos and they're not the most entertaining videos because they're how-tos. They're not supposed to be jokey or funny, but is there a way that we can sort of do a Ray William Johnson from 2013's content in the Snap This show to try and bring more entertainment value to the videos? Because I know a lot of people say, get to the point and do this. And it's like, well, you can't because you've got to explain some theory, because once you understand some theory, you can actually understand what the video is about instead of just doing A, B, C, D. It's just that sort of how-to style. But like that's sort of where I'm planning to go. But also just to say a massive thank you. Obviously, the channel is what now? We're going to say 6-7 years old. Whoa, that's crazy. No, that can't be. Yeah, 6 years old. It's definitely 6 years old, which is mad to think like that's how long this channel has existed and paved its way. So obviously we're going to keep it going. But it is about supporting new content creators, talking about social media. That is what 2024 is going to be. I'm going to be sharing some of my journeys from doing films and going to special places and being invited and doing all these things that I do off camera. And I feel like there's a lot to show in terms of like entertainment, but it is learning to like kind of vlog properly. So we're going to get there, but that's sort of the plan. So thank you so much for tuning in. Honestly, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you as fans and watchers to give us the platform, because without the platform I wouldn't actually be sitting here in a cool lit room in front of a light and a nice camera and my favorite microphone. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.